everyone. I'm Jacqueline Campbell from the Moneris Mosaic program team, and today I'm joined by Monte McGregor from our products and partnerships team. Thanks for joining me today, Monty.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. I really appreciate you being vulnerable and open with the focus of our conversation today, which is on your experience as a person with disabilities in the workplace. Can you tell us about your career journey as a person with visual impairment and how your disability has influenced your experiences in your career?
Well, definitely. My career started back in 1996. Recently migrated from Jamaica in late 95. I was working with the telephone company in Jamaica, so I had some experience under my belt. So I was quite confident that I would be able to land a job here, no problem. So I started sending out resumes, and I was landing interviews. And but as soon as I disclosed that I'm visually impaired, the interview will go downhill. We'll get back to you. We'll keep you on file, and so on. So I started losing confidence, and I was speaking with my wife. She recommended that I go back to school. So I went to George Brown, did a business training program there. I completed the program with a 94% average, and start job hunting again. Unfortunately, for me, I was faced with the same roadblocks again. I would get interviews, but as soon as I disclose that I'm visually impaired, it will go downhill. Doing the networking sessions, there was this Goodwill call center training program that came up a few times. The catch there was guaranteed placement was there at the end of the program. So I applied, I was successful, got into the program, completed the program. My placement was at one of the leading banks. Anyway, I decided to take advantage of the opportunity because I wanted to show what I can do, and also to pave the way for others like myself. So I started out, with confidence. Even though I there was some fear there, I used the fear as a motivation. I borrowed manuals and equipment, took them home. Back then, the technology wasn't as great as now, so my wife had to read the manuals to me. That was my bedtime story. I got so comfortable with the equipment after practicing with them at times I could troubleshoot just by listening to the equipment, and that was good for me. I was Because of that, I was promoted from entry level rep to senior rep within the first year. Within the second year, I was promoted from the help desk to technical support, and that led me to where I am today.
Thank you for sharing, Monty. And although it's incredibly unfortunate that those companies discounted you based on their own misconceptions about your disability, I'm glad that you were resilient and it didn't stop you from continuing to try and find the opportunity with the placement that you found that gave you the opportunity to continue building on your career. And I'm sure it's inspiring for others to hear that if they're facing something similar. So I'm glad that that also led you to working with us here at Moneris. When you first started at Moneris a few years ago, how did you communicate the accommodations and resources that you needed to do your job effectively and to also navigate your own environment?
That's a great question. I'm glad you asked that question because it was the first time that I did not have to ask or mention that I am visually impaired or that I require accommodation. The interviewer, CJ, he asked that question at the beginning of the interview. Do you require any accommodation? Is there anything we can do to make you much comfortable before we start? So that was a breath of fresh air. I could not believe it at the time. Moneris paid for my ZoomText software. The IT people, they were great. They was very accommodating in getting me set up. The installation process, they made it as easy as could be. And Moneris also paid for my 32-inch monitor.
Perfect. Well, I'm very glad to hear that Moneris was proactive in asking that and didn't wait for candidates like yourself to bring up the accommodations they needed. It's the company's responsibility to bring it up to make sure that the process is equitable for everyone. So I'm happy that Moneris did was proactive in that way. And lastly, I wanted to ask you what message you had to create inclusive environments and to also create a culture of understanding in the workplace?
Oh, definitely. It's very simple. See us for our whole self, not our disability first, or or the fact that we're disabled. See us as just a normal person. I would want to be known as the disabled guy, or the blind guy, or the guy with the disability. Just Monty. And
Mhm.
once that's established, we'll be fine.
Absolutely. And I think everyone would agree that, you're not just one entity of yourself, and there's so much more to everyone, so not to just be seen by, in your case, your disability. So I think a lot of people can resonate with your message. So thank you again, Monty, for joining me today and chatting about your experience and your perspective, and for sharing your story with the Moneris Mosaic.
Thank you for having